I'm s- Hello, everyone. Everybody's saying hello in the chat.
Good thing we upgraded our Zoom account.
Now we can fit everybody.
Yes. Everybody says hello to everyone else.
I almost don't want to share screen because I don't want to. I don't want to say goodbye to these beautiful faces.
Right, right. That's my phone.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen in just a bit, though. Can you tell me how many people we have on right now?
$106.
All right, I think we should get started.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Quigley. I'm the Executive Director of Meaningful New York. I am so happy you can join us today. Here at Meaningful, we're doing a lot of work to make sure you have all the tools you need to really be able to manage self-direction for your family, for the families that you support, and for the individuals you support. So, and for yourself. Today, Summer Ortiz, who has been working with us as our implementation specialist, is going to do some training with you on our eVero system. And Sharon Thompson, our Director of Administration, is also going to be providing a bit of an overview on some things, some budgets and compliance items. But first, I just wanted to give you a bit of an update as to what we're doing here. So the very first thing I wanted to say is just thank you. We know that trying to implement a whole new electronic system in the middle of a pandemic is probably not the optimum way of doing business. However, I do think that it has been a remarkable opportunity for us to be able to continue to do business and to provide services to you, and a platform for you to receive your services. So well, I thank you for your patience during this implementation, and the entire staff of Meaningful New York thanks you for your patience. We do hope that you're seeing improvements utilizing our new processes. So just wanted to make sure that you understand that our primary goal is to make sure that you have improved customer satisfaction with Meaningful New York. We are doing everything we can to just make sure that we're responding to your needs and helping you get the services you need timely. And utilizing eVero we think has been a real game changer for the agency, but also to ensure that you have a lot more control over the budget that you're working with, transparency, to be able to see what's happening, to be able to see the work that the Circle of Support is doing on behalf of you, for you and your families. And also, the processes, because we're implementing a new system, our processes are evolving. So we recognize this is happening. We want to provide the most expeditious way of doing business. So you're going to see us sending out more emails here and there once we, nail a process down and feel that it's working right. We'll inform you of it. And then we also want to make sure that, we're training you and providing you with the tools you need so that there is no future disruption in services. As you know, we we have been doing a lot of work to improve our payment turnaround, and we believe that you should be seeing quite a bit of improvement with your payments, and we want to continue that. And I just think that, the being able to utilize eVero is it definitely giving you more opportunity to see all the work that other people are doing, be able to comment on that work, be able to send that work back, say you agree, you don't agree, so you have a lot more control. And it also puts us in a position to be ready for electronic visit verification. I know some people have very strong feelings about electronic visit verification, and we recognize that. However, it is going to be the law of the land unless more advocacy is done. And we're talking about New York State. So January 1st, 2020, it will be a New York State law. And the work that we're doing right now will prepare us to meet those standards. So we're happy to be using eVero to be able to meet that criteria that New York State has. So with us improving and growing, I wanted to just give you a little bit of an update on some new staff that are working for Meaningful New York. Priscilla Bacchus is working with Muamisho, who you probably know as Sho, in our accounting department. Danielle Patterson just started this week. She is going to be working with Raquel and Sonia in our HR department, also reporting to Sharon and Sonia. Elizabeth Alpin is a new FI coordinator. She has quite a bit of experience, and we're really happy to have her. Faye Simon left us as a full-time employee, but she continues to work with us as a consultant and has been mentoring Elizabeth. And we are hiring a new FI coordinator. So you will see more staff, you'll see new faces, new names soon enough. So I also wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up that we, actually Faye and I worked directly on a grant to the New York Community Trust. One of the things that we're concerned about is making sure that we are really hearing what our families need, our individuals need, and the community in terms of self-direction. And not everybody has a really solid basis, of understanding and self-direction, and we wanted to increase access to really understand what people need to support them better in self-direction. And we want to do some outreach with schools and underserved communities to make sure that community classes understand what self-direction is and how they may be able to support you and the people that you support. So we're really excited about this grant because we're going to, it's just a lot of really solid work that we'll be able to do. So we'll be reporting on our outcomes to you. And we're going to be doing a lot more training for brokers over the coming year. So look out for that and know where that's coming from. And in touching upon community classes, we want to really make sure that you have really solid access to all of the classes that we have already reviewed and approved. So I think we sent out a couple of weeks ago the community class list and a new community class checklist that we ask your brokers to review when you're looking to add a new community class that has not yet been cleared with Meaningful New York. All right, so it's really important, and I'm sure everybody knows this, But when you want to utilize a new community class, please make sure that it's approved. We promise you that we will take no more than 1 week to review your submission for the community class checklist and get back to you within a week, whether we approve or not approve that class. And we'll be sharing the clear class lists with you on a more steady basis. So every couple of months, we'll send out a more updated version of that list. We will be growing steady, but slowly over the coming year. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that we were not, our doors were not closed. They are now open. However, we are going to be accepting new participants from existing brokers that are in good standing. So if you do want to add someone, if you're a broker and you do want to add someone, please just reach out to me, send me an email, let me know who it is that you're looking to add. And we will be taking new brokers if they have experience with eVero or if they have a mentor broker that they're working with. So new brokers as well. If you're interested, you can reach out to us, me directly right now. And I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, this time has been, obviously, everybody hears the word unprecedented, but compliance, regulatory changes, it has been coming at us fast and furiously, and we have been working with partners and working together and just really hunkering down to make sure that we're digesting all of these changes and rolling them out to you. So for example, telehealth, until further notice, still continues. However, retainer days have discontinued. Now, while OPWDD talked about flexibility for school-age children, I need you to understand that that is really not the case. There is no overlap between a scheduled school day and the ability to provide self-hired staff services during that time. So I know that it is really difficult for families. Believe me, I understand. I too have children in school. I can't even imagine what some of our families are going through with trying to manage everything. Unfortunately, as an FI, our hands really are tied on this particular issue. However, we do have a 20% withhold that I'm sure everybody understands in regards to state-funded services. That is going to be your OTPS, family reimbursed respite. Those services are being 20% of that funding of the billing that we submit to OPWDD is being withheld. And there is no timeline as to whether they're going to release those funds that are being withheld or not. Now, at this time, we are reimbursing at 100%. We don't feel it's fair to you. However, we will continue to monitor this particular situation. We are asking that you advocate on behalf of your self-direction services. I know that I've sent out some information. I've got a lot of really positive response, so I really want to thank everyone who has jumped on the email trails and contacted your state and local representatives, federal representatives. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because right after a big advocacy push, housing subsidy was carved out of the 20%. So advocacy does work. I will send out some advocacy notices as they come in, and would really be grateful and appreciate your help when we do so, all right? So that's pretty much what I have in terms of our update. That's probably really plowed through this, but I hope you see that Meaningful New York really is evolving as a young and small-ish organization, and we are going to be doing more outreach to you to hear more from you about how you feel about your services and what we can do to better support you. I have been, contacting a lot of brokers to find out how they feel as well, and really have gotten some fantastic feedback, not just praises or applauds, but also really concrete things for us to be able to improve. So I just wanted to thank you and make sure that you understand and recognize that we really do value that feedback, positive, negative. It all does help us to improve. So I'm going to pass on the mic, so to speak, to Sharon Thompson. If you have questions, please continue to enter your questions into the chat function, and I will monitor it and respond to it as we can. All right.
Thank you, Michelle. Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to really do a shout out for everybody. I want to, because your dedication and commitment to the individuals that we served through this whole past year, this unprecedented time, is unwavering. The ResHab staff, the respite staff, brokers come together and really support the individuals we serve. It's amazing, and we really, really appreciate everything that you do. So thank you. Bravo to everyone. Bravo. Okay. School schedules, that goes back to what Michelle was talking about. Unfortunately, we cannot run ComHab services and respite services when the school-age children are in school. So what we would need is, we would need school schedules to know what times they are in school. So if you have a school-age child, can you please forward your school schedules to your FI coordinator? Certainly appreciate it. The next thing I would like to talk a little bit about is really, we all agree that we do not want to have interruption in services. And the trend that we have been seeing is that services have been interrupted because ComHab service and the respite service portion of the budget, the funds in that portion have been depleted. So what we'd like to encourage is to be proactive. Now that we have eVero, it will be easier to monitor your budgets on a weekly basis. Just go into the budget, see how you're doing, see how these, your staff budget lines are doing. And if there is a problem, please collaborate with your brokers and the FI coordinators. Maybe you have to do a CNBA. We are also noticing that people aren't really adhering to staff schedules that are in the budget. As you know, everybody gets cleared through HR, and you submit a staffing request form to HR. And on that form, it has, 6 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours for staff to work. But what we're finding is, because of the COVID pandemic, that staff are working outside of that schedule, which is causing the budgets to be depleted. So what we want you to do is really just be mindful of that. Go into your budget. Please, everybody, just look at it. If your budget is rolling over soon, or if you have another year, and what you could see on the dashboard is how much of the budget has been utilized in there. If you have another 6 months and you've already utilized 75% of that budget, then we really need to talk. You need to talk to the brokers and to the FI coordinators and come up with a plan so that you can have money for the whole year. However, once that budget is depleted, we can't do anything for it. We can't do anything for that. So it's really let's be proactive and try to sound the bells and whistles prior to the budget being depleted. Okay. The next thing I just would like to bring to your attention is payroll. Some payroll changes, because we are going into eVero, and that's very exciting, where self-hired staff, ComHab and respite staff can enter their time and services through the eVero app. And that will start in November. As of November 1st, everybody will be in eVero. That's where our expectation is. We will not be accepting any timesheets from anybody after November 1st. So please make sure that you schedule, you go into summer's training. Summer has trainings scheduled every Thursday, and I believe Mondays too, so that you can meet that November 1st deadline. It's a very easy app once you get to know it. We also are instituting another policy, because we're doing eVero. In order to request time off, what we'd like to institute is the self-hired staff, the respite staff or ComHab staff, talk to your direct supervisor on what days that you're going to be taking off, and come to an agreement of what days that you want off. Once that agreement has been made, you can request time off through the Paycom app, through the Paycom self-service, employee self-service. You should be able to see how much time you accumulated also in Paycom. So that's a guide for you. So we're really very excited to get eVero on. We have been utilizing eVero for the past month. Some staff have been utilizing, and thank you very much for people who have been the test cases. We have seen some issues. One issue I'd just like to bring up is really families and or the individuals need to really approve staff time in a consistent manner. We would like to see it once the service has been completed. That's the absolute premium of what we would like to see. If a staff did a visit that day, and just go into the portal and approve their time and services. But at the minimum, please approve time on a weekly basis. Okay, at least by Sunday. Sunday has to be, all time in eVero must be approved by Sundays, just like your normal timesheets. So if we can't get the approval, the family approval or the individual approval by that date, unfortunately, we cannot pay the staff. So it's very, very important you get into the habit of approving time when the time has been completed. Again, when the visit has been done. Okay. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We've been working very hard to make sure that we are prepared for November 1st, and we are. So we're looking forward to this. And we're here. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me an email, a phone call, or anything like that. And next, I think I'm going to pass it on to Summer.
Oh boy, yay. All right, everybody. So what we're going to do.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. There's a couple of questions that I wanted to try to answer from the chat, if that's okay with you.
Sure. I thought we were going to save questions till the end.
Only because it's just related to what Sharon had just mentioned. Paycom is different than
Yes.
than eVero. When staff are onboarded, they do all of their onboarding through Paycom. So they're very familiar with Paycom. And that's just one of the primary, and we will send the slides out to everybody.
Right. So what happens is we do an import. Your time does go through Paycom from eVero to Paycom, and we do that by an import. Paycom and eVero talk to each other at this point.
And time off, 30 hours, for every 30 hours worked, 1 hour is accrued, correct?
For sick time, yes.
So
Yes.
whether that's part-time or full-time staff.
That's correct. That's for both. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. I think that's it for right now. So Summer, you're on.
Wonderful. So the first thing I want to say to everybody is thank you. I know this is difficult learning something new. Technology isn't always the easiest to grasp. Everything is, it's not anything new that you're going to be doing. It's just going to be a new way that we're doing it. So I'm going to work with everybody. If they need a little extra hand holding or a little one-on-one time, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will walk you through it. I will show you how to do it. And I'm going to walk you through the family portal today just to show you guys where you're going to be spending your time, what you should focus on, how to use it. The things that are going to be part of your responsibilities, which again have always been part of your responsibilities, we're just doing them in the portal now. Tonight we're going to go over how to review broker and employee time. We're going to go over how to review budgets, CNVAs, and amendments in the system. We're going to go over how to review staff mileage and expenses, and also how to do your monthly summaries. Michelle, I need to share my screen.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
So what I'm going to be walking you guys through tonight is a mirror image of what your family members portal looks like. This is the Joe average profile. He's our test account. He's my buddy. We spend a lot of time together. Hold on one second. Time for bed? Okay. Yeah. I love you. She says good night, everyone.
Hi, Olivia.
Good night.
Good night. All right. So when you log on, this is what you're going to see. As Sharon so eloquently mentioned before, this is your dashboard. This is a very important tool for you guys to know how to access. This is how all the money is spent across all buckets of the budget. And when I say buckets, I mean sections. And within those sections are budget lines that you can spend certain things on, depending on how the broker wrote your budget with the circle of support and everybody's needs in mind. So what Sharon was talking about before is here you can see self-hired ComHab. If you have self-hired ComHab approved, you can see Joe has $1,100 that he's allowed. You can see how much is pending payment, what the balance is, what you have left. This little battery here will start to diminish and turn red when things are in trouble. So what you should think about when you're thinking about your self-directed budget is quarterly spending. If you've reached your first quarter and you're spending over 25% of a section, you should really, if there's nothing that happened out of the normal, like a pandemic, you should work with your broker to move that money around to ensure that you're really budgeting out for the whole year. Because let's face it, it's money. It runs out quicker than we can spend. We spend it faster than we make it. So, and that goes with any section of your child's budget or your family member's budget. If there's not an approved section, it won't appear here. So if you don't have self-hired staff, you won't see a self-hired staff section. And that goes for every functionality in the eVero portal. If you're not approved for certain areas, they won't populate in the drop downs. This is to help mitigate the errors that you might accidentally make by selecting something. So that's your dashboard. Further down on the dashboard, you'll see a budget list. So here, this will be your individual or loved one's budgets. So if we want to click in, so here where it says approved, sometimes you'll need to sign one of these budgets. It will be in red. It will require your review. So what you'll need to do is you just come over to the budget that requires your review and you click on the number that's next to it. That's an eVero assigned number. There's nothing special about it. It's how it's tracked on the back end in the system. So you don't need to worry about that. But when you click on it, it'll open up a PDF copy of the budget. And the great thing about this is that we don't have to look at the budget in a teeny tiny Excel that's at like a font of 4. We can actually see it. We can zoom in on it. We can scroll through it and read it. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to review all the things that you talked about with your broker and your circle of support. You're going to make sure all the information in the budget is correct, everything that you'd normally do when you're reviewing a budget. Because this budget's already approved, it's missing a button that's here. Normally there would be an approve or reject button right down here next to review. Let's say if you're reviewing it and there's something that's wrong, you can click reject and then there will be a text box that will appear and you can type right in it and that message will push right back to your broker and let your broker know, hey, I wanted this many hours in ComHab. I thought we discussed, or hey, I need to move this. This isn't right. Could you go back and fix this? Or hopefully everything is A-okay and you can just click approve and it will be signed. Once you sign that you've reviewed it, it will push over to your FI coordinator for review and then submission to the state if necessary. So this is where you'll find any annual budgets, any CNBAs, or any amended budgets. And the process for approving them is all the same. You'll see that it is in need of approval and you'll just click on the number that corresponds, open up, review it, and click either reject or approve. So next, the service plan. The service plan, which used to be called ComHab plan, now it's called Staff Action Plan, is the same. You'll see that something is in need of review. You'll click on the date, which is blue and underlined next to it, and it'll open up a copy of the Staff Action Plan. You'll read through it to make sure the goals are correct and they're everything that you guys all agreed that everyone was going to work on at the meeting. And down here next to where the review button is, there would be an approve or reject button to follow the same workflow as you would for approving or rejecting anything else. Down here where it says monthly summary list, which we're going to talk about a little later, this is where you're going to find a list of your monthly summaries. So now I know many of you have been working with me on submitting your monthly summaries via Word documents and PDFs. So those will all be housed in the document tree. You'll be able to find all the ones that you've sent in. But moving forward, as of November, we're going to start typing our monthlies in the system. So this is where you're going to see them appear. But I'm going to show you where you're going to type them in a couple more tabs into the training. When you have a broker agreement that needs to be signed, the same, you click on the date that's to the left of the broker agreement. It'll open up a copy of the broker agreement. You'll double check to make sure all of the things that you agreed to with the broker are in here. All the boxes have been checked, and you'll either approve or reject it based on the conversation that you had with the broker. Here are your monthly expenditure reports. Because we've started using eVero as of, we were using eVero as of April of this year is when a lot of stuff will start to appear. When you log into your monthly summary report, here you'll see anything that was spent out of the budget, and here you'll see if there were any activities completed by your coordinator. So if your coordinator reviewed a budget and submitted it to the state, it'll be documented here in the activity log, and you'll be able to see that it happened. So that's what Michelle talks about when we hope that eVero helps to shed light on more transparency, where your money is, when checks are being cashed, if documents have been reviewed and submitted, etc. Okay. So down here is where your broker billing will be. We have no broker billing to review today, but again, it's the same exact workflow. You'd click on the date that was to the left of the broker bill, you'd open it, review it, or reject it. Approve it or reject it, rather. So we're going to go back up here to the top. The second tab I'm going to show you is the SDS tab. The SDS summary tab is this screen right here, which we've already walked through. The invoice screen is, again, where you're going to be spending a lot of your time. Hold on one second. So when we're creating an invoice or we're submitting for an expense, all we have to do is come to our invoice tab and hit the plus sign over here. A little box will appear down here. Sorry, I have to keep moving the faces. And this is how we're going to submit the expense. So let's say we have an expense for September. We went to karate. So we'd select IDGS, and now, as Michelle mentioned before, this class has already been vetted through your coordinator. Your broker has already submitted the form, and the class has been approved, and you're already just now seeking reimbursement for the expense. So you're going to select IDGS because that's where community classes are. And as I mentioned before, it's not going to bring up anything in your budget that's not approved. So there are other sections or budget lines in this bucket of IDGS, but they may not appear because if it wasn't put into your budget, we don't want to overburden the drop downs so that you, again, select something that you accidentally shouldn't. And if you ever have a question about what category an expense will fall into, this is where you'd reach out to your broker and or your FI coordinator to assist you with processing that expense. So I'm going to select community classes, and paid to means who's getting the money. So if you have a direct vendor agreement set up for karate classes already, that just means that you've agreed that you're okay with us mailing the check directly to the karate place. And you'd have to show proof of attendance instead of proof of payment. Okay, so for the purposes of this, we're going to select admin. Also here in the amount, if we put something in there that's going to cause us to go over the amount that's in that section, like say $80,000, you see how it all turns red because that's too much. We've now overspent. Wouldn't it be nice if our checking account did this as well? All right, so we're gonna say that it was $80 because hopefully, oh, he doesn't even have $80 left. Okay, $8 for today. And then it was karate in September of 2020. When you click browse, you'd attach a copy of either the paid receipt or the proof of attendance, depending on who the check is going to, just like you'd attach an email. And then you're gonna click save. It's gonna give me an error message because I didn't. So let's just pretend that this is the one we just submitted. So where is my money? That's always a question on everybody's minds. So if you submit an invoice in your portal, when you hover your cursor over submitted, you'll see how information comes up in super tiny font. But if you squint real close, you can see that your initials are there, the date is there, and there's also a timestamp. So sometimes your broker is submitting invoices on your behalf, or perhaps the coordinator was helping you as you're learning to navigate eVero, upload some invoices. So if you're wondering when were they submitted, this is how you see that. So the next step in this workflow would be to have it verified. Once you submit it and you can see that the green check is submitted, it pushes over to your FI coordinator for review. Once they've reviewed it, if all is okay, they will verify it. So if you're looking to see where it is in the process of verification, you can really just follow each invoice along from verified to check requested to approved to paid. Now, please just be mindful that if you are on a direct deposit system, the payment system that we use does make payments anywhere from 5 to 7 business days after this paid. So after that, if you still don't see a payment, please feel free to email your coordinator to follow up. But please give a little time to us to allow the system to process that payment. But again, it just allows us to have a little bit more transparency so you can see when things have been processed and when you should expect your money. Okay? So next on the tab journey is going to be broker documentation. So here in the daily notes section, this is something that's used programmatically for other programs that are using the software. So you don't have to mess around in here. So don't worry about that. So broker documentation, this is where you'd see all of your broker invoices. You can also review them, and it's preferred that you review them from the summary screen. Okay, so 90% of everything that you're going to review is going to be in this summary screen. So that's why I say you're going to spend a lot of time in there. But back down here to attendance roster. So attendance roster is where you're going to review your staff time. So when you come in here, you're going to select whether you have ComHab staff or respite staff, because those are the services that we provide here for now. You'll toggle the dates back and forth for the pay period that you want to review, and you'll click refresh, and you'll see employee time comes up. This is what the punches will look like. Realistically, they will be longer. These were just some test punches that I threw in there, so that way you guys could see what they look like. So if you're wondering what the goals look like that your participant is running with your staff, you can click here on the service counts, and it'll open up. And it'll show you the valued outcome that was worked on, the prompt level that was given, and Joe Average refused today. That's not good. So if you click on view, what did he refuse to do? He refused to participate cooking his dinner. Oh goodness, we're gonna have to follow up with him on that. So this is anything that's usually blue in eVero. If you hover over it and click on it, it will open up and give you information. So I encourage you to click around and get used to this profile, because there's many ways to look at different information depending on how you like to see things. And you can't break it. So if you think you broke it, you can always email me, and chances are we'll fix it. So I do encourage you to play and learn. Okay. So here when we're reviewing staff time, again, you just want to make sure that the start and stop times are the same as what the shift was worked. If you know that the staff didn't stay there till 11, please don't approve something that says they stayed there till 11. We're all working off the honor system here. So here's the spot for individual review. So when you click here, I'm getting there, and that's what you normally should get. All right. So normally, if we weren't getting an error message, you would click here for review. There's a box here that you can click on. There's something going on in the background that needs to be hooked up. But you'd click here, you'd see what the staff rate is. You'd see how much they're getting paid. You can also see their payment status. So if your staff are wondering where their pay is, once it's reviewed, now it's pending. Once it's reviewed, that'll see that it's reviewed by the family. They'll see when it's reviewed by us. They'll see when it's prompted for payroll. You'll see when it's paid. So you can also see if a staff is complaining that they didn't get paid for a certain day. You can actually go in and check to see the days and the times that they've actually been paid for. So when we go through here to the monthly summary note, and I know everybody's super excited, including me, that we're not going to be having paper anymore. When you come to your monthly summary note tab, you're just going to hit this plus, super easy, and you're going to select the month that you want to type it, that you want to do. So for the purposes of training, let's see, we'll select September of 2020, and we'll click OK. So we want to click through the services that we use. This month, we did ComHab, we worked on improving my independence at home. And then here in the text box is where you're going to type a little summary of any monies that were spent or goals that were worked on, just a summary of the activities, progress, and so forth. And again, I'm going to show you where to find the training videos for everything we're talking about today. Should you want to watch them again, or should you need extra help with doing any of this, you can always reach out to me. And then there's just questions. Would you like to change anything about your services and prompts? No. Do you have any service-related concerns that need to be addressed? No. If you did and you checked yes, a box would appear. You could type whatever you want in it, and you can click save. So when you click save, you'll click preview. This is now your monthly summary. It'll push over to the coordinator for review and approval. We've reviewed our monthly summary, yes. So now everything is approved. Okay. The response to service is if you ever want to see the goals and the prompt levels in a monthly spread. So this is something that you're not really going to spend a lot of time in. This is more of an auditor's compliance section, but just so you guys know what's in here. Yearly expenditures, if you ever want to see what's spent for the entire year, you can come here and select a budget. For the purposes of this training, there was only spending in January, but once the budget has gone over an entire year, you'll see January, February, March. You'll see how every single dime of the budget was broken out. If there's further details, you can open it up to see that this is where it was spent on phone, internet. You'll be able to see what months it was spent on. So if you're ever like, did I submit that bill? Where did it go? Now you can check to make sure if you submitted it. No more losing reimbursements. Here in transportation and staff activity fees, this is for your staff. This is where you're going to go to review transportation and staff activity expenses. When you're submitting transportation for yourself or OTPS transportation, you'd go here and submit it as an invoice. So here, for the transportation, this is any mileage that's put in by your staff via our mobile app. So when they go in, and again, this is exactly what it will look like for the roster. There will be a box to check, and you'll be able to approve their staff time by clicking the staff mileage by clicking the review button. If you ever want to see what this trip entailed, you can always click on the date, and it'll open up a summary of the trip. It'll tell you how many miles, it'll tell you where they went, it'll tell you the purpose of the visit, it'll tell you what's been reimbursed and exactly how much was reimbursed. So this way you can see if there's anything that sounds strange to you. And the other great thing is it doesn't allow you to put in mileage or expenses unless there's a punch on that day. So the staff can't accidentally submit a receipt for prime rib steak on a Monday when they didn't even work with Joe Average on a Monday. They can only submit expenses and mileage for the times that they're actually clocked in. So the system prevents them from doing that. So it's just a little helpful tool that in the way that the system helps you to manage some of the things you're looking after. So when you come in here to staff activity fees, again, it looks very similar. When you click on here, you'll be able to see a summary of the expense. And then you'll also have attachments. So when you click on the attachment, you'll see there was a picture there and it was meant to be funny. It said receipt for bowling, but that picture didn't come out so good. All right. Okay, but see here, meal at Sizzler. Oh, they went to Sizzler. What did they get? $75. This might not be an expense that we want to reimburse because that's something that's significantly expensive and it's probably a receipt you want to ask some more questions about. So here is the document tree. In the document tree, you have the ability to upload documents, store documents, your coordinators store documents here, your brokers store documents here. So if you want to see anything that you've submitted to us, this is where you'd find it. If you are looking for addendums that have been put in here or uploaded or scanned, your approval letters are in here, your broker checklists from when they first enrolled your son, daughter, or family member to our agency will be found in here. And as I mentioned before, we've just started using this system. So we are in the process of uploading a lot of those documents into the system. So if you log in here and you see that something's missing, please don't panic. It's not that we don't have it. It might just be in the queue to be uploaded. So feel free to reach out to your coordinator and ask where it is.
What happened? Can't hear you.
Although we use Joe Average, it was a training name that was given to us by eVero, and it's used across the board. Personally, I think I would have picked, Fabulous Felicity, but, we're stuck with that. So we don't think anyone that we support is average. You're muted?
Trapped in there. I'm
Ah,
like, I'm not done. Help me.
I'm
trapped.
like, why are you so quiet, Summer?
No. So basically that's really the last tab that we're going to run through, but I want to show you guys in this help section, there are videos of all the things that we walked through today, broken down, and also a larger video if you haven't watched it. And there's also a PDF user guide of everything you'd have to be able to do in here, step by step with screenshots. So if you have questions at like 3 a.m. and you can't get a hold of me because I'm not answering the phone, this is where you look. But again, like I said before, if you need any extra help or any one-on-one time, please don't hesitate to ask or reach out. I will do whatever I can to help support you guys learn to use the system. Okay, and that's it for me.
All right. I've been trying to get to a lot of your questions in the chat room. Chat room, I don't even know if that's a term anymore. In the chat box. Hopefully I've answered a lot of those questions, and Summer has too. However, feel free to reach out to anyone on our team with a question, and we will do everything we can to get back to you with an answer. And then also, compile some of those questions into an update that we'll send out soon. So, Summer, I think there have been a couple of questions regarding monthly summaries and the population.
I'm answering them right now.
Okay, I don't know if you want to just say it out for everyone to hear.
Oh, sure. So, okay, that's smart. How do we approve? Okay, how do we approve ComHab time again? Okay, let's see. ComHab time is found here in the attendance roster. And normally there would be a box here for you to check, but for some odd reason, I'm getting an error message. Probably because I'm paying them so low. All right, let's see what else is in the chat. Hold on.
There was a question from Mark about, what is direct and indirect hours?
So indirect and direct hours are hours that are worked directly with the participant. Indirect hours are them going to training, them going to meetings, them going to things that they would be paid for, but not otherwise working for the participant. So let's see. Will we teach ComHab how to submit timesheets and request expenses? Yes, we will. I have been teaching them. I also have extra help trainings every Thursday at noon and every Monday at 3. And also outside those times, should they be working or in school or whatever, if they can't make it, we can always schedule something else. Is that rate the same? The pay rate? No. The pay rate will say whatever your staff's pay rate is. I think that's the question you're asking.
I don't know if the pay rate is the same for direct and indirect.
Yes,
it is.
So we do have a training rate when staff are first onboarding, but yes, it is the same rate, with the exception of that rate.
So one of the questions was, will there be an app for families to be able to review time?
Yes, there is a MyCare mobile app for families where you can review the staff time. You use the credentials that you do log into your portal with. There is some functionality that's not available on the app for submitting expenses. So be mindful of that. But you can review staff time from the app. So let's see. What is employee start and end time on the timesheet? The start and end time is whatever they start, and the end time is whenever they would finish their shift. So if they normally work 4 to 8, their start time would be 4 and their end time would be 8. What do we do about the CSF monthly summary reports? Burn them. No, I'm just kidding. You're going to continue to submit them until November, and at the end of November, you're going to start typing them in the system via the SDS tab. You're going to go to monthly summary reports, click the plus, and fill out all the information as usual. How do we connect with you on Mondays and Thursdays? You can email me to sign up, or you can call me. Everybody should have my contact information, but I can gladly put that in the chat.
There's a question regarding out-of-state services.
What is it? Where I can't, there's too many. What's the question?
From Beth. Okay, you can't see it.
I'm looking for it. There's so many.
I don't think yeah, you wouldn't see it. It's just how to enter if someone's going out of town. And I think that would be in transportation.
It depends on what's approved in your budget. So if somebody's going out of town and you're using personal use transportation is OTPS, and it would go in through an invoice. If staff are submitting mileage, it goes in through their app, and you'd review that expense on the transportation tab. I don't understand staff activity fees. I thought we had to submit all receipts. So you have an option. And this is a family decision. It's not a meaningful New York decision. Sometimes staff don't have the money to lay out to take your son, daughter, or family member to do things. So you guys lay it out, and then you submit for the reimbursement. Some staff lay out the money and then they submit for the reimbursement. It's all about how you guys decide that you want to do it. So if you still want to submit for reimbursement for your staff, they would submit whatever is still to you, and you would put the expenses in because the money's going to you. If the money is being paid to them, it needs to go through the app. I hope that helps clarify. Messages, hold on. Staff support section has physical, verbal supervision. Wait, hold on. They're moving too fast. What number is option from 0 to 9? So physical, verbal, gestural are all types of prompting. So if I'm giving somebody verbal prompts, hey, Johnny, can you go grab the eggs? We're going to make eggs. That's one verbal prompt. Hey, Johnny, can you go grab the eggs? That's 2 verbal prompts. It's basically you giving a rough estimate of the amount of prompting that you gave in specific areas while supporting the individual. What happens if you don't have a receipt? You don't get paid.
I want to thank Atif for letting me know
After
that I was just responding to him and not to everyone.
Does after school program events like movie night need FI approval? Yes. Because we need to know what more details about what that is. The other time in between. I'm just trying to scan through to see if we got everybody's questions. Summary. Start and stop time. Okay, there's a new message. If anybody has a question, please type it in the chat again, because everything just kind of got lost. In eVero, on the timesheet, when the worker wants to work more hours than that day, take off time the next day. When the hours are already to make up for the next day, staff will take off the next day.
You have flexibility.
If anything needs to be adjusted in the punch, you can always send an email to payroll. Can you type in the timesheet on eVero, or does it have to go through the app? It's captured in real time. They have to punch in and they have to punch out in real time. Do we have, Do we take more detailed notes in eVero, or is it the same amount of writing? Well, they should have always been detailed notes, and it should be the same amount of writing. You should have always been including prompt levels, the amounts of prompts, and thorough explanations of what you did and what you did to support your individuals. Do we where is the sign in and sign out for ComHab? There are instructions that are given to all the ComHab staff for the steps to punch in and punch out. And I can work with them on that. What if someone doesn't punch out by accident? They can always punch in at the time that they remember, and they can put notes to adjust the time, or they can email us to put it in. No, the monthly summary note is not the same as the monthly expense report. The monthly summary note is a summary of all expenses and goals worked on that's submitted and prepared by the families to the FI for review. And the monthly expenditure report is a report that's prepared of all expenses paid out by us, that's prepared by us and sent to you. Please send the list of approved programs. That's Michelle. Does the
We haven't updated it recently, but it was sent to everyone at least about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So check your inbox. It was an attachment.
It's dependent on your circle of support who completes the family notes. It doesn't matter, just as long as somebody completes it. ComHab notes a summary of the ComHab activities and spending will populate for you to click on when preparing the monthly summary note once the staff are all fully engaged using the app. Can you go over how to punch in and punch out on the app? That's a separate training because it's already 8 o'clock. I don't want to keep everybody here. The punching in and punching out on the app is something that I do on Mondays at 3 or Thursdays at 12. How do I sign up for eVero? You can email me and I'll have your portal account set up, whoever that is. iPad 3.
We are going to host this meeting again tomorrow at 10 a.m.
And Song Family, if you need me to go over the punch in and out process with you on a separate meeting, we can set that up. So don't worry about that. What is the start time versus end time? Okay, perfect. So the difference between start time and employee time versus start and stop time. So when the staff arrive, they punch in, they may not start working with the participant right away. So the employee time is the time when they first arrive to your house. And the second punch is when they start actually working with the individual, which is that direct time. Ideally, those punches should follow immediately right after one another within seconds. There shouldn't be large gaps of time because sometimes, let's face it, they may get there a little early, attend a training by the broker, or attend some sort of meeting, and then they don't start working with the participant until an hour afterwards. We have to find a way to capture that. So that's the difference in the punches. How do we get your email address? You can ask for it, and I will give it to you right now.
summer.ortiz@meaningfulny.org.
There we go, and I'll even give you my phone number. Email is always easier. I can email at any hour of the day. Phone is inappropriate to call after a certain hour. Oh my God, that's not my phone number. Hold on. There's an extra number in there. Let's see.
So I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Really, it's just amazing to see how many awesome people we have in our network. So thank you. And more to come.
And I mean it, if anybody needs help sometimes, well, we're not really letting you raise your hand because you're all on mute. If you need more help or you forget everything that I've said today, I can go over this with you again. I have no problem hand-holding or training or doing whatever it is that I can to hopefully get you to learn. And hopefully this makes your life a lot easier.
Yes, that's the goal. All right. Well, thank you,
Everybody,
everyone.
thank you so much.
Summer, you were fantastic.
Oh, thank
Sharon,
you.
you were awesome. Thank
Have
you.
a great night, everybody.
Love our Meaningful New York team. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Oh, it's so great to see everybody. Bye, team. Bye, Deidre. Bye, Stacy. Bye, Beth. Bye, Ron. Bye, Edna. All right. Have a great one, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye, Karen.